Hello, I am Reiner Delgado from Germany. I live in Berlin and I show you today how to make Bauernfrühstück. A Bauernfrühstück you could also call hearty breakfast or farmer's breakfast. My parents were farmers and so I think it fits to make such a dish now for you. I learned cooking mostly from my mother. She didn't show me so much, but she explained me things. When I didn't live at home, I called her and said, "Oh, Mom, please tell me how do I cook this and that," and this worked quite nice. And nowadays, when I'm cooking, I feel quite connected to my mother. And at the same time, it's my history of getting more independent in my life to know that I'm able to cook myself things I like to eat. My mother never made Bauernfrühstück. That's quite funny. And here I show you the ingredients. It's 5 ingredients, and for 2 or 3 persons, let's take 8 potatoes, 2 onions, bacon in original, but we take smoked tofu. The most reason for this is that my wife is vegetarian, but I think eating too much meat is really not the best we can do in the world. Then we have 4 eggs and we have pickled cucumbers. And these cucumbers are a bit special. We call them Spreewaldgurken. They are very famous in Germany. This region of Spreewald is where the Spree River comes from, which goes to the city of Berlin. And yeah, they sell this pickled cucumbers there and they are very famous. And now I use them for our meal. For peeling the potatoes, I use this peeling knife I got from my mother 35 years ago, and it's another connection between me and her. Still, she's now in a nursery for elderly people with dementia, does not know to cook, but it taught me a lot and I continue cooking. And peeling potatoes I learned from my educator in the nursery school where I was, and he told me to peel first like a belt around the potatoes and then to continue with both halves of the potatoes, and with my nice peeling knife this works quite well. Now I cut the potatoes in thin slices, and first I cut them in 2 halves which stick together at the end. And while cutting the thin slices, these 2 halves stick together and I can cut all the potato at once with this. Quite nice. So now we put on the stove. I cook here with a ceramic hob from my wife, where I moved half a year ago. And this is quite difficult because it's a flat surface and you cannot feel where the area is you have to put the pan on. But if I put the pan here, I can feel at the edges where the heat comes out. And when there's heat coming out, I have to push the pan a bit more in this direction. And when nowhere heat is coming out at the side, then the pan is quite centered at the area where it has to be. My pan is a bit high and this makes it easier for me because things don't fall out so easily. I put a bit of oil and first I put in the potatoes because they take the longest time to be well cooked, about 20 minutes. And I put them in and close the pan and continue with cutting the onions. I think a professional cook knows this quite better than me, but this method I learned also from my mother, to cut the onion in halves, and then each half I cut in 2 halves and
cut them together in thin slices and later they fall out in stripes. I put the onions in, move everything around and close again that the heat stays inside the pan. I cut the tofu and again I cut slices and stripes which stick together at the end, and so I can cut the whole piece of tofu in very small pieces in a short time. I put the tofu in the pan, move around and close the pan again. The next thing are the eggs. I put them in and move everything around, and so the eggs can fry it also. And in this time I cut the cucumbers. I cut them in two different ways. Normally we use long slices which stick together at the end, and then you can later put them quite nice on the food. But I also cut here small circle slices which I use later. I tried to put the cucumbers as decoration right on the potatoes, but you don't see what it means. So I put it here on a board and I use this round cucumber pieces to form words in Braille. And especially I do it this year because we celebrate 200 years of Braille code. We as blind people are very happy with this, to have this Braille code. And the meaning of these words is Golden Eye Chef.
Bon appetit! Enjoy your meal!